Hello, Yuna from Oz here. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're all well. The sun is shining here. I've had a few busy days and I really need to get off my feet. So today is a day for in the studio. Those who follow my videos will know that I've been making little journal books, and here is one that is nearly complete. It's a little garden themed one. So I've been doing a little bit of emphera and bits and pieces in this little garden journal. I do a little stamping. I mainly make them so they've got quite a lot of writing space. So I've been using a lot of the digital paper collections from Liana Scrap on Etsy store. I really love them. I'll put the link down below. She's emptied my bank account a few times lately. Not sure if I'm going to completely use all the emphera that I have put in. It's not quite finished. So, but these papers are just beautiful. Now, I've been asked by a few of my friends who've seen my notebooks, and I've sold a few, about my process on how I actually go about making these little notebooks, because they're not as fiddly or as laborious as the big ones. They're still a lot of fun though. So I thought I would show you a bit of the process. So the first thing I do is I find my papers. Excuse me. So I've printed these eco dyed papers from Liana Scrap, and I've printed just some basic plain pages. I have cut them to size. I print 2 of these on an A4, so the book is just a little bit smaller than an A5. So here's my next botanical book or garden notebook. It's more in a vintage style. Absolutely love vintage, absolutely love these papers. So the first thing I do is I choose my papers, and I may use digital printouts, or I may use papers I've got, I may use papers I've found, I may use a bit of book papers. But because these are small notebooks, I always try and keep the theme and the look the same, and I always try and not make them too bulky. I do sew the spines together on my sewing machine, so it's got one signature sewn in. So the next thing I do, as well as print, now I may not use all these papers, so I print out a selection and then I try and work out what's going to go with what. I also try and include a scrapbook type paper. This is from Graphic 45, one of my favourite designers, just love it. So this is going to be an internal page in it. I like the vintage theme. It's not too bright, and I will just cut that to size and use that. And I've also chosen this absolutely beautiful paper, again from Graphic 45. This one is also from Graphic 45. It's their Floral Shop collection. I'm going to use this as my cover. I'm undecided whether I cut it short and put the birdie in, or whether I just cut it and see if I can fit the birdie in somewhere without destroying all the paper. It's quite bright on the other side, but I quite like that. So I'm going to use that as my cover, and that is one of my inserts. So the next process I do after I choose all my papers is I glue them back to back. Now, because these are only printed on plain white copy paper, which is an 80 GSM, I use my laser printer, so it's reasonably good quality. They are quite flimsy, so I do have to back them. So I either back them with a plain paper, or I back them with one of the printed ones, or I will back them with just a plain tea-dyed paper or something like that. So I will glue them back to back. Then I will give them a slight trim so they all sort of, none of these white edges are showing. And I'll take you through step by step about how I organise my supplies and how I make my little notebooks. I'm hopefully going to keep it quite short and sweet. They are not too fiddly. I can probably do if I sat here and did one from start to finish, it probably would take me maybe 2 hours. I don't know, I really haven't timed it. I tend not to make one at a time. I tend to make a few at a time, so I'll print a few papers up, and then I'll get all my papers out, lay them on my table, and put things together. So it's probably a little bit more economical in time to make a few at once. Anyway, I will go through step by step and show you how I make them.